So welcome everybody. Welcome to this public talk. The Rangjung Yeshe series is a way to kind of share the wonderful opportunity we have to bring tradition and contemporary life, East and West, together here at Rangjung Yeshe. And we're an institute that aspire to bring more wisdom into this world. As we all know, it's quite needed. So I won't go too much into Rangjung Yeshe Institute because most of our people here are well aware of what we do at Rangjung Yeshe. The is to really try to bring some experience to our study of texts and philosophy. So we study a lot of texts and a lot of philosophical discussions that are being shared at RYI. And so this Buddhist art course was a way to try to bring some flesh and bones, we could say some experience to this situation. So we looked at contemplative photography and we looked at contemplative dance. We also went into brush stroke practice, calligraphy. And today, as a way to bridge this, this idea of beings in their environments and the capacity to appreciate the natural world, I've invited Margaret to come and talk with us. I know Margaret for decades, I guess, decades in Nova Scotia. And I always was struck by Margaret's profound devotion to her teacher and profound appreciation for the Buddhist path, and also profound appreciation for the natural world. Margaret and Jim have had a farm, Windhorse Farm, that really is kind of at the forefront of what we could wish for this world, really. And so this is why I'm inviting Margaret to talk to us about Ikebana. I remember you, Margaret, at Ditch and Sholing making these wonderful arrangements. I think you remember gathering all the flowers and coming to make these arrangements. So welcome, warm welcome to our class here, Margaret.
Thank you so much for the invitation. Well, thank you everyone for checking in. It's delightful to see your faces and to hear your voices. So as I said earlier, I don't know if everybody was here for it, but my purpose in being here today is because of my deep love for Mother Earth and for the Buddhist Shambhala teachings and for community, particularly community that wants to take those teachings, the things that we are learning in these multitude of texts and practices and chants, and bring those from our hearts and our minds into our body. And most of all, to bring that out into the world. Some of the teachers that I respect the most are those that have done that. Many of the teachers that we talked about earlier were people who were very happy in their monasteries. Some of them were ones that were driven out of their monasteries because of the political situation. And I often think of Thich Nhat Hanh because he is someone who has left his body this year, but he was an extraordinary teacher in Vietnam who came out of the cave because he thought, why am I practicing benefiting all sentient beings while I'm sitting on my butt in a cave. I should do something. And he went into his country, and he was, I think, the person where we have coined the term engaged Buddhism, because he cared so much about society. He cared about the North Vietnamese and the South Vietnamese. He was a peacemaker to all people. And that equanimity is an extraordinary quality. As we all know, with the 4 Brahma Viharas, equanimity is the one that ties love and compassion and joy together. And so that's something that I'm passionate about, of bringing what we're doing, what we're learning, what we're practicing, what we're experiencing into the world to benefit all sentient beings. So that's kind of the ground here. And the teachers we've already appreciated, and the ground that we've already appreciated, and now we have appreciated this extraordinary Sangha that's here in these little teeny tiny colorful squares on my computer. So this is terrific. So to begin with, Deanne had mentioned that we had met each other here at a place called Windhorse Farm, and we met about 30 years ago. And I'm sitting right next to Windhorse Farm, because Windhorse Farm is now in the hands of the indigenous people. It has been returned to the people that it was stolen from. It was taken from hundreds of years ago. And so now the farm that used to be called Windhorse is called Asidulik. And that is a Mi'kmaq word, which means a place which gives one balance. And if you know about Windhorse, have you heard the expression Windhorse before? Is that something? Do you know the word longta? If so, make a horse so I will know you've. Do you know longta? Okay, some of you know longta and some don't. Great. So you give me an excuse to explain it. So when we talk about Buddha nature, which I know is very fundamental to your learning, Buddha nature is our core. It's who we are. It's our natural, whole, healthy goodness. It is who we are. Basically good. Our nature isn't particularly the Buddha. Everybody has Buddha nature, even though they may not be Buddhist. But Buddha nature is the nature of all sentient beings. And when we tap into the heart of that goodness, when we tap into that place, literally in our bodies here, when we move into that place, when we come from that energy and we're moving, that movement is called Windhorse. So we've tapped into our fundamental healthiness and wholeness, and we're moving out from that. So our activity comes from our core being, which is just the same as everybody else's. So there's that equanimity again. And we move from there. We come from there. This does have something to do with Ikebana, just wanting you to know that. And so when I begin a class like this, there's the land acknowledgement, but there's also something that I always like to do, which is raise Windhorse with you, come from that place. And a way of invoking that, a way of making that happen, is by offering some of the herbs of this land. I don't know if you can see that, but I have some juniper here, and I have some sweetgrass. So it brings together, this juniper is the most common land plant. It's the most common plant in North America. It's juniper. It's very fragrant. And you might have this plant there too. I'm not sure. And then sweetgrass is this is what the Mi'kmaq call the sacred grass. They call it the hair of the great mother, Mother Earth. So that is offered the most precious of herbs. And I have a little charcoal going here. And as a gift, could you take my view off? I'd like to see everybody else. I have a chant here that was written by my son-in-law, Noel McClellan, who was an Acharya with Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche. And he wrote this many years ago when I had supplicated him to have a chant that people who were not particularly Buddhist or interested in hearing about Buddhism, but they were interested in hearing about what we call drala, or the awaken qualities of the land. So he wrote this chant, and I will offer this herb while I say this chant. It's called Invoking the Beauty of Windhorse Lasang. Are you with me? This is going to come right into your nose. It's going to be right there wherever you are in the world. It's coming your way. So bring it in. Wash yourself. It's like a enlightened shower. Ah, the great display of the natural world awakens us into goodness. We are alive in the midst of beauty. Every movement of the elements beckons us. The beauty of wildflowers, the beauty of birdsong, the beauty of sweet water, the beauty of honeybees, the beauty of tamarack, the beauty of hemlock, the beauty of maple, the beauty of apples, the beauty of snow, the beauty of black flies, the beauty of raindrops. Invoking the totality of beauty and goodness in an endless diversity of phenomena, we offer the richness of the earth, the branches of the juniper tree, our work, and the longing of our hearts. The smoke rises and billows, awakening our senses, carrying our aspirations into the world. May there be harmony in our families and communities. May the world be free from harm. May all the plants and animals be happy. May all beings enjoy profound, brilliant glory. Kiki, so, kiki, so, kiki, so. So a lasang, part of it is purification practice. It's a way of cleansing, and it's done in the Mi'kmaq tradition with sweetgrass. It's done in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, as you know. And as part of it is purifying our anything that might get in the way of us experiencing our fundamental nature, our fundamental goodness. Any obstacles like thinking too much about ourselves, or being distracted by something going on somewhere else, but being present. So this removes obstacles to our connecting with our basic nature, all the kleshas that you've heard about, all the habitual patterns, all the ways we separate ourselves from being fully present and being with what is going on in the moment. So that's one thing. The other is, as you notice, the smoke goes up. And the idea with the smoke going up is it also comes down. So it's bringing the blessings of all of these teachers, all of these knowledge holders, all of these wisdom keepers that we've been talking about and inviting into our conversation today. All of that's being brought down into this conversation and to all of you. Do you feel it? Good. So I think that I've talked a bit about several things that you may or may not be interested in. But one of the things that I can never emphasize too much here at right now, next door to Cedarlook, the place that gives you balance, is that all of us are joined together by the Great Mother. We're all joined together by Mother Earth. So wherever you are sitting, I am sitting. I heard a wonderful talk from an elder in Hawaii who was saying that in Hawaii, when women are giving birth, they go to the ocean and they give birth into the ocean. This is traditional practice that the elders were talking about. And that's because the ocean joins the 8 oceans together. And so it's a way of really speaking to a very visceral experience of interconnectedness. So knowing that you are completely connected with all of the peoples of the world by being born into the ocean. And I thought that was an extraordinary practice. So in some ways, speaking to the Great Mother Earth and our appreciation, it's like it's our body. It's our precious human birth is to be here on this earth. This is our body. And this earth is us, and we are this earth. We are fully one. And the practices that we're doing, Ikebana is a beautiful practice of expressing the wholeness of all of these branches and flowers and rocks and heaven, earth, and humanity are all brought together in this earth, Mother Earth appreciation. And so I feel that by my whole work here at Windhorse was to bring people onto the earth and into the forest and into the garden and into the water, experiencing the elements, because when you're there and you feel them and you appreciate them and fall in love with them and see your connection with them, then you become a protector. That's the way we're going to do it. And we are at risk now of losing this earth, of losing our body. So it's important for us to make a connection with that. And that in particular is why this Ikebana practice is important. And in fact, all of the practices that Deanne has offered to you, these contemplative practices of music and dance and stroke practice, and these are all about embodying and being, and therefore benefiting you, and then benefiting others, and then benefiting the whole. So it seems maybe some people are, oh, Ikebana, that's your own little trip. That's what you're doing for you. It has a very big vision, and it also allows you, it turns you on to this vision. I was always so amazed by bonsai plants. I'm an ornamental horticulturist by training, a landscape architect. So I would be out in Berkeley, California, where I lived, and that's what I did. And I met a lot of beautiful Japanese bonsai artists, gardeners. And to see a small dish, and it would have an old cypress tree that was sometimes 100 years old in a little tiny dish. And then under there would be a rock, and then this beautiful moss. And it would all be like in a 12-by-7 dish. And I always thought, oh, this is the way, because they live in Japan and everything, this is the way they were able to bring the mountain and the rock and the moss forest into their home or into their garden. then I thought, no, this is a way for us to go out to that. So it goes both ways. It's what you can have and bring it in. And as a reminder, could be a plant in your house, but it's also to connect with who you are and the connection you have with the world and the vastness of your mind. So that's a bit of a prelude to the heaven, earth, and human teach, which is a big part of doing Ikebana. But Trungpa Rinpoche was a artist in so many ways. And one of the things that he was great at was writing chants. And I'm sure all of you are you doing chants? Do any of you have things like this that you chant? And they're sort of like reminders, not sort of, they definitely are reminders of who you are and what we're about as Buddhist practitioners or wannabe Buddhist practitioners, which is where I'm at. Did that kitty just walk across the screen? I think they wanted to be a part of it too. Hey, here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Here, kitty. Okay, so Trungpa Rinpoche wrote this, and see if you can guess what it is. It's called The Supplication to the Mother Lineage. So don't look at me, but look outdoors and listen with your ears. So don't just hear it, but listen. Got it? It's a difference between looking and seeing. So this is with the ears. Take it in through the ears and then look outside or at a plant if you have a plant in the house. We pay homage to the mother lineage. Your robe is soaked in water. Your hair is elegant and airy. Your perfume is exquisite. From a grain of barley dropped on the ground by seeming accident, great prosperity has sprung. Your milk feeds the nation. We like the crescent moon on your hair. We emulate your openness and bounty. You speak softly, but your command carries weight. Please do not stop loving us. We bathe within a grove of bamboo. Please help us to become gentle and tough. So what do you think he was talking about? Anybody have an idea? Allie?
Yeah, hi. I know, great hair. I like it. um, so that last part of a grain of barley falling on the ground. I mean, that's for me is the key. It could be a grain of wisdom, a grain of phenomena, whatever it is. Whatever you place in the ground, that connection is golden, or whatever expression you want to give. So that was great. Thank you.
Beautiful. Great. Any other thoughts? It took me the longest time to figure this out. It took me the longest time. And then someone mentioned, oh, he's talking about Mother Earth. And then I went, oh, your robe is soaked in water. Your hair is elegant and airy, the trees. Your perfume is exquisite. Smell of flower. This is the sign for flower if you do sign. From a grain of barley dropped on the ground by seeming accident. Everything that's growing, all the shrubbery, all of the grasses all of the wisdom. Great prosperity has sprung. Your milk feeds the nation. We like the crescent moon on your hair. Where are we? We're in a new moon, I think, right now. We emulate your openness and bounty. You speak softly, but your command carries weight. Isn't that happening right now? Do you hear the Great Mother talking to us? Your command carries weight. Please do not stop loving us. We bathe within a grove of bamboo. Please help us to become gentle and tough. So, of course, when we talk about mother, we're not, it's, what do you call that? It's not gender specific, but we're all mothers. And we're held by the Great Mother. So that's a ground for what we're doing here. So one of the things, you know, how we're doing all of these chants, you know, I'm weaving together. I just found when Diane offered this talk to me, I started to kind of see the talk jump out of the chants, like the one that Noel did and the one that Trungpa Rinpoche wrote. And I've got a few more here if it's not too boring for you to do it this way. But it's so many, so it's bringing our practice alive. I think that's the point. Is that we're reading these things, or we're studying these things, or we're thinking these things, and maybe we're thinking they're separate. So we kind of have a dualism about it, like, oh, that's Buddha nature over there. This is all about how Buddha nature is right here. It's in every one of these little screens that we see. It's in the tree that I look at out my window. It's in the flowers for flower arrangement later. We will get to Ikebana. And it's in our difficulty, it's in the troubles that we have. Buddha nature is there. So our fundamental nature is full of Dokar Lamo. Oh. So I was thinking about what is the purpose of doing things like flower arrangements and calligraphy and dancing and what we've been talking about. And one I've talked about quite a bit already, which is warriorship. And we know when we talk about warriorship, we're talking about peaceful warriorship. We're talking about the kind of courage to be gentle, the courage to be vulnerable, the courage to be honest, the courage to be a fool, the courage to be smart. Whatever kind of natural bravery, the natural confidence that we all hold in that Buddha nature, that's what it takes to put in that first branch. That's what it is to ask a question and really not know. So we're talking about that kind of bravery. And I think all of these arts that we're talking about are ways of expressing our personal warriorship because we care about the world. We want to do something to be helpful. We want to help ourselves and we want to do something for this world. And it's possible to do this through these arts. Part of it is just recharging. I shouldn't use the word just, but recharging. It's the way we can plug in back to our own fundamental goodness by doing these arts. It's a way we can reconnect with what we know, but sometimes we need a reminder. And I think one of the main reasons is because we're of the tradition that isn't warding off death. That would be a good inspiration. But a good inspiration would be because we're celebrating life. And how we can celebrate life is by appreciating ink and paper and hand, by gathering flowers for an Ikebana, by singing a Kempo song. That's all celebration. And I know you know that if you've done it, you feel it. It's an energetic reconnect, and it's a recharge of your warriorship. So it's not just an expression of it in a embodied way, though it's very much that, but it's also energetic regrounding and re-energizing and reconnecting with our fundamental nature. So one of them, I don't know, do you all do the supplication to the Tagpo Kagyu? Is that a chant that anybody here does? I'm not getting one yes. So Deanne, are you wondering?
I think it's not everybody who is in the Kagyu lineage. Some are doing more Nyingma teachings, so and others are connected with other lineages. So
Terrific. Thank you. So in the Kagyu lineage, which I think is probably in other lineages, share the same type of chant, which is speaking to our awareness. And that is the body of this practice. It says here, awareness is the body of meditation as is taught. Whatever arises is fresh, the essence of realization. To this meditator who rests simply without altering it, grant your blessing so that my meditation is free from conceptions. And so the meditation in this case is the contemplation of doing these various arts and bringing the practice alive is through awareness. And I think probably all of you are very familiar with awareness practices. And this is what I would call a heightened awareness practice that's available to all human beings. And the awareness has to do with perception, which I understand you all have been reading this excellent book called True Perception, The Path of Dharma Art. And perception, as you probably already know, has to do with what's going on right now. Perception is when you open your eyes and you feel that you are here, and you drop into your heart and you expand into unlimited ayatanas. So there's a process, and it's not some process that you really have to get to because it's already here on the spot. Kempo Rinpoche used to say, I was talking to John Rockwell yesterday, and he reminded me, sends his love to you, Dan. And he said, I remember Kempo Rinpoche used to saying, perception is this: subject, object, boom. And I just loved that. I remembered that. I went, oh yeah. So it's how subject and object come together in that vastness into that moment. But one must be aware, one must be present. And you are already. So done. I'll see you next week. No, we're going to go on a little more with this. So all of that is to say also what we think about and what we know about. Have you heard of this heaven, earth, and human? So that's something that you may have been studying in perceptions. That is a pith teaching in terms of Ikebana. So there's heaven is this, well, let's start the other way. Earth is where we are right now, as we've been talking about. It's the groundedness. It's the here-ness, the practicality, the solidity on the ground, a groundedness. That's earth. And that is embodied right here in us. We are here in this body with these beating hearts, good, wholesome hearts that we talked about, our fundamental nature. And heaven is the vastness. It's the unlimited ayatanas. It's the anything can happen. Possibilities. So there's very practical ways we could talk about heaven, earth, and humanity. We used to say man, but now we're saying humanity. I don't know if I should do this or not. I have some, no, I'm not going to do that. I think what I'm going to do, does everyone have a understanding about what this heaven, earth, and human is all about? You feel like you have a little bit of understanding and hopefully a little bit of doubt, because that's the learning edge. If you kind of go, oh, I'm not sure I do, that's good. So I'm going to ask you, because I don't know anything about Ikebana, I'm going to ask you to go out and get some Ikebana materials. I'm going to give you 10 minutes, and you're going to go outside, if you can go outside, and find something that represents heaven, represents earth, and represents humanity. Those three elements. And let's say you're on the 20th floor of an apartment building and you can't do that. Maybe within your house you can do that. You can find three things. So everybody set your watch. Oh, shoot, it's already 10. Are we okay time-wise?
Time-wise.
Pardon
Yes.
me?
Yes.
Good. Okay. So set your iPhone or your watch or your head, however you do it. Maybe you can do that. I'm going to wake up at 6, and then you wake up at 6 person. Set your clock. And does 10 minutes seem like a good amount of time to do this? Too short, too long? Just perfect. Okay. So I'm going to set my timer, and I'm going to go out and see what I can find. And I'll see you all back here in 10. Were you able to go outdoors?
Yes. And it smells wonderful.
You must be in Nepal.
Yeah. These flowers, the scent comes only in the evening.
Oh, are those evening primrose? Ah, I can smell them from here. Ah, oh, aren't they lovely? And they have that flower that goes from white to lavender to purple.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Isn't that incredible?
Oh, wait till I show you where I am. Oh, why do I wait? I don't have to wait. 1 minute and 19 seconds. But check it out.
It's winter, finishing winter.
Yeah, there's still ice. There's still ice. This is the closest thing I get to flowers. And then I brought it inside the house, hoping I could use it for this event. It's not quite there, but the Buddhas like it. Hey, hi, everybody. You came back. I thought maybe you were going to keep going on and get a burger or something. Decided to stay with it, huh? Good. So what do you think? Do you think everybody's here? Do you think anybody's hiding behind those names? So how did you do? Were you able to find some things out there? Good. All right. Well, how shall we do this? How about just a few of you could show us what you brought back for heaven, earth, and humanity? Would you be willing to do that? Eduardo, have you got something?
Yes. For heaven, I have this small Tara. Also,
Nice.
I have this Kara.
Beautiful.
For earth, I have this small little plant. And for humanity, this is like a candle holder where I can put like the flower on top.
Oh, lovely. Beautiful. There it is, all in one. We take that picture. Chip. Beautiful. Thank you. Heaven, earth, and humanity all in one picture. Lovely. Thank you so much. Would anybody else like to show what they got? Allie, how did you do from your car? You did okay? She's going to sign. Oh,
Sorry. Yeah. I'm in North Dakota and here. So I'm at a small lake and I'm watching the Canada geese rise. Oh, here goes some now.
oh, lovely.
Yeah. Okay. And so for my heaven, I got, I know this doesn't seem like heaven, but what it is, guess what it is?
Definitely.
These are wind-blown pods. I wanted to find evidence of the wind. And so this is the contrast and this is the blow. So that's my heaven. And as far as earth goes, oh, humanity, this is my humanity. I know it was bad. I don't care. But it's reach. You know, this is the outreach. And that, I think, is human, to be and to reach. And then the earth, I know maybe I was thinking rock, because that's mighty fine. You know, I have a friend, I found some rocks. We have petrified wood around here. So I found a piece of, you know, just something that I picked up, and he made it into something that I wear. And it feels like a fingerprint, but that's not, I mean, that's very earth. So, or very whatever. And so, but this is more what earth is for me. It's stuff that we don't have a lot of trees, so it's precious. And these also go back into the ground. And so it's a temporary state. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, you'll see another flower arranger I'll show you did the same thing that you did. That's excellent. Beautiful. Thank you, Allie. Okay, I think we have time for one more, and then I'm going to make an attempt myself. Who's got one here? Who really has one they want to show? Tia? Do I see a smile? Yeah, I see a big smile.
Okay, so for heaven, I have some flowers. There's this one, and then there's a tiny one here. But the earth, when I have a couple, because there's this rock and some bamboo. For humanities, I'm not sure I got it right, because I thought you wanted us to reflect where humanity is headed. So I've got a dinosaur.
Oh, dinosaur!
And a hammer.
That's great. So can you kind of hold them all three together in one picture here? We've got heaven, we've got earth, and humanity is a dinosaur. Oh my God. That's so true.
We're driving ourselves.
That's okay. You got the heaven flowers. Those are beautiful. Well done. What do you think, folks? Heaven, earth, and humanity? Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna, we just have 2 or 3 more things to do here. One is that I have, can you see this? I'm not sure what you can see. Can you
Yes,
see what
we can see this.
Okay.
Yes.
And I wonder if I put it like this, can you see this? So where I live, it looks very much like where Allie lives. It's basically earth, snow, water. It's very, it's still just winter moving into spring. But I was able to find a vase and a few things here to work with. So here is a Kenzan. You probably are familiar with these. These are little prickly things that you can put in the bottom of your vase. And I have some water from the lake. And I have these wonderful branches. So when you make an arrangement, usually you would like to you'd like to have something that is local, and these are about the only thing that's really happening now. But I thought these were interesting because they're in the colors of red and yellow, which are the colors of the Kagyu. And I was sort of looking for ones that were really going to be tall and sort of dramatic and reach upwards, up towards heaven, sort of like our lasam, something that could capture the energy of the heavens and bring it down into our gathering today. So we may be doing a little bit of a balancing act here with these branches. They're dogwood branches, and they're willow branches, and they're branches of the red osier dogwood. And those are all very indigenous to this place. They are plants that grow here naturally. And I'm not sure whether we're going to be able to get them to stay together here, but we're going to give it a try. So this is our heaven. And we're going to see if we can hold that in place and bring it down to earth, as someone else was doing with a rock. And so we're going to have 2. Here's another indigenous plant. It's the white pine. This is a particular kind of white pine to sort of ground all of this in the earth. And then I was thinking maybe to do something like this for humanity, because this was my teacher who I love so much. He loved chrysanthemums. And so because of his love of chrysanthemum, we'll put that there in honor of our teachers, our devotion, our yearning. So it's kind of looking upwards towards heaven. And I could go a little further if we wanted to get a little Ratna here and maybe reinforce the earth aspect with these green chrysanthemums. Just invite a little bit more solidity. So there we go, a little heaven, earth, and humanity. So as I said, I don't know much about Ikebana. I do it all the time. I love to do it all the time. In so many different ways we can do Ikebana. We can work with heaven, earth, and humanity in our lives. And the great inspiration in my life, I'll show you what a real Ikebana looks like. Can you see this? Is my holding that properly?
Bring it up a little bit. Yes.
So this is Trungpa Rinpoche's Ikebana. And that was a very clear example. And here's one that I just love so much, but it's not as clear. Oh, I know this one I first wanted to show you because it made me think of the one that Ali had done. I think he's using some of the, oops, what do I do? Turn it this way.
No, closer to you. Yeah.
And you see he's using some of these things, these elements up here that maybe seem dry, but I think those are part of the man, human element. And thirdly, this one is a little more difficult to see, but I just love it because he uses this backdrop as well.
Closer to you. Yeah. Perfect.
How's that? Are you able to see?
Yes.
Whoa. So there's a Ikebana master who studied in the Shugitsu school and loved doing it. And he would take people out, what he would call, I think the explorers of the phenomenal world. That's what he called them. He'd take a group of people out and people would have on their binoculars and they'd have their secateurs and he'd take them out into nature and then they'd find heaven, earth, and humanity and learn from him in that way, which was a real blessing. So we're, I think, close to our time. And I had one last thing, which was, as you know, in our tradition, we have a dedication of merit. If there's anything that's been helpful or useful to you or anybody in this last hour and a half that we spent together, we'd like to give it away. We'd like to open up our hearts and give it to whomever might benefit, might make their life just a little bit better and easier. And this is a chant that speaks to that. And this is an aspiration dedication. Warriors of directness, puncture our arrogance. When we good travelers are intoxicated with our seeming immortality, remind us that death is always following us. We should sip life's every moment, like our last drop of water. With this fresh perspective, may we respect this precious body and conduct ourselves with decorum and decency. Experiencing cheerfulness, may we relax into confidence and authentic presence. May we be kind to others. May we help dispel the endemic degradation of this time. May we be brave enough to arouse universal goodness and pacify the suffering, cruelty, and savagery of the dark age. May we rekindle the torch of beauty and brilliance, the inherent birthright of all beings. May we constantly sharpen awareness and determine with precision what to accept and what to reject. Let us be cheerful enough to smile and open our eyes to the great ocean of magic, the perpetual feast before us. This is the self-generating wisdom, a beacon that resides in our palace. This message pulsates for all humanity to feel in their heart. Thus the Dralas constantly whisper, never to give up. So thank you all for being here today, and may this benefit you in some small way.